Remember when you were house hunting and found the perfect home but just couldn't quite fit in the financing? Maybe you settled for second best that time. Well, right now, Century 21 BHJ has a lot of listed homes that may be your step up. And with today's low rates, it's time to look again and move up to that perfect home. Century 21 BHJ can match you with the perfect agent to seek out that perfect home. Stop in today and check it out. Century 21 BHJ, downtown Sheridan. It's time to move up.
Hi, this is Nicole Christensen from First Interstate Bank. Considering buying a new home or refinancing? Do you want to know what loans are available for you without the hassle of making an appointment to meet with a lender? With First Interstate's online home loans, you can view our current rates, use our loan calculators, choose a loan officer, even get pre-qualified. From mouse to house, as fast as you can type. First Interstate Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Harker Mellinger CPAs can make your life easier with our bill payment, payroll preparation, and bookkeeping services. Our fixed price agreement is set according to your needs and features unlimited phone calls and meetings for one monthly fee. Choose only the services you need, and we will tailor them to fit your business. Let us provide you with cost-effective solutions. Harker Mellinger CPAs, 1470 Sugarland Drive in Sheridan.
Hi, this is Jesus with Ptolemy Data Systems, and I'd like to invite you down to come see me at 39 North Scott Street to learn more about our IT services. At Ptolemy, we offer computer sales and repair, secure data storage, hosted email, remote network management, and on-site technical support. If you're in need of technical expertise for your home or business, give us a call at 675-2222. Again, that's 675-2222.
At I Care of the Bighorns, you, the customer, are the focus of the exam rather than just your eyes, because Dr. Katie Dean and Dr. Brandy Ballou know that your vision is just one aspect of who you are. Feel free to ask lots of questions, because with the Optos technology for your exam and all of the latest in frames and lenses, you'll be amazed at how much more you discover about your vision. I Care of the Bighorns, focusing on the person behind the glasses. Call today, 674-0444. That's 674-0444.
Hi, I'm Drew Adrians. If you're thinking about hosting a party for teens so they can drink, have fun, and supposedly be safe, then you can't be thinking about their health. Here's what you've heard recently. Teen drinkers perform worse in school and have an increased risk of depression and violence. Those are facts from years of research. So perhaps your intentions were good, but you just hadn't heard about the negative health effects of alcohol on teens. So now you know. Remember, it's not okay for kids to drink alcohol, and it's not okay to host a party for them. This message is brought to you by the ASAP Coalition, Northern Wyoming Mental Health, and the Wyoming Department of Health.
Welcome back to Public Pulse, sponsored by Century 21 BHJ. Our guest, Dan Neal, the Executive Director of the Equality State Policy Center. Dan, are you guys going to be getting into the worker safety issue that's cropped up here in the last, maybe it's been out there for a long time, but it's gotten a lot more prominence in the last month or so?
Oh, we sure are. We've been very encouraged by some of the recent actions and words coming out of the administration. I mean, the governor said he wants to hire more inspectors for OSHA. The department director, Joan Evans, has said that she's already identified 3 positions that they could move to OSHA so that they could provide more courtesy inspections. And part of this is in reaction to the epidemiologist report that came out in December, which said that despite efforts otherwise, Wyoming still has not developed a culture of safety, particularly in the oil and gas fields. And I think everybody probably has seen the headlines the last few days about the fines that were levied in that pipeline explosion that 3 guys were killed last August. Our efforts and our push on this is going to be, look, we want to see these accidents prevented. We're not so interested in seeing companies get fined after 3 people are dead and their families have suffered these tremendous losses. So what we've asked the governor to think about is, increasing inspection capacity at OSHA they really didn't even have the capacity to meet the epidemiologist's recommendations for courtesy inspections. And these would be an inspection where OSHA and a company agree that OSHA is going to come out, inspect a company's job site, identify any safety hazards and violations of safety law, point them out to the company. Then they get a certain amount of time to correct those issues, and there are no fines for if the company goes ahead and corrects those issues. So we think that's good. We think that's a positive program. But one of the things the epidemiologist points out is that companies rarely take advantage of these courtesy inspections that have been offered over the last few years. They rarely have invited OSHA out to take a look at their sites. So we think that there also needs to be an increase in compliance, and we think that this includes both scheduled and surprise inspections, where an inspector would just come to the site and say, here's a problem, you're in violation, you should have known that you were in violation, and you will be fined for that. This is what happens in the coal mines, and the coal mines have a significantly better safety rate than in the oil and gas industry. And so that's one of the other things we asked the governor to do, is look at that and try to figure out why are they so much better. I mean, these are inherently dangerous industries. Injuries still occur in the coal mines, but at a much lower rate than in other industries in the state. And we know that MSHA imposes heavy fines, and they can even shut down a mine and say, you will stop operating until this violation is corrected. And the companies know that, and they comply, or do a reasonably good job of complying. I mean, occasionally accidents happen, and sometimes we find out they're out of compliance. But we think the MSHA model has shown itself to work, and so we think these greater enforcement inspections followed by fines, and then maybe we need to look at, does OSHA need to have the power to go in and tell a drilling operator that drilling on this rig will stop until these 3 or 4 violations are corrected. I mean, that will get the attention of everybody involved with an oil well or a gas well if drilling has to stop.
Dan, do they have voluntary inspections for the coal mines?
I know that the MSHA inspectors, they're inspectors that live up in coal country. They're around all the time, and so I can't tell you if they do courtesy inspections or if they've just been around long enough that these guys have relationships and they know that they're going to be here. So let's be sure we're on our toes here.
Now, within the oil and gas industry, the impression I get is that there are a lot of subcontractors out there. You're not necessarily dealing with, the Exxons and Chevrons and these big companies like that. You're dealing with a lot of more of the safety problems come up with, the small welding shop that's owned specific to a particular thing that has 15, 20 employees or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that the industry itself has identified, is that the larger companies tend to have more active safety divisions within the company that get out and make sure that things are being followed, but some of the smaller companies do not. That's why we think that, like MSHA, the state should be publishing a company's safety records so that people have access to know, okay, they were cited for these violations, they've had this many injuries, this many serious injuries, this many fatalities. And then when a contractor looks and says, okay, and this could be in construction, could be in lots of different places, is looking at hiring from a set of potential subcontractors, they can look and see which companies are actually developing a culture of safety. And then if that information is available publicly, say on a website, a worker likewise could say, okay, I can go to work for drilling company A or drilling company B. Drilling company A has had 10 safety violations and 2 fatalities in the last 3 years. Company B has had 1 violation, no fatalities. That might become a factor in their choice of which company they decide to go to work for. The other thing that we've argued for here is that we know that in some instances workers have been encouraged not to report injuries, and this works from a couple of different angles. Companies don't want to, if a company has a bad injury record, then their workers' compensation insurance rate will go up. And we know also that sometimes because of incentives, a crew can be working and be towards the end of a tower, and they're going to get a safety bonus if they get through the tower with no injuries. Somebody wrenches their back. We've heard of the instances where people have been urged not to report their back injury because then that would cost the whole crew their safety bonus. So it's against the law not to report an injury on the job. There are existing criminal provisions to deter it, and so we're urging the state to enforce those laws and make sure that all lost time injuries and accidents are reported.
Dan, is there much opposition to the concept of the voluntary inspection?
No, I mean the industry's been the oil and gas industry publicly has said that they support the courtesy inspections. They said that they've supported higher fines, and I can't tell you if they've actually come out and said they support more surprise inspections.
Well, could they couple the surprise inspection with if you have voluntarily allowed to have an inspection, we'll give you a free pass if we do a surprise inspection, because if you've allowed us to voluntarily inspect, we come in, we'll allow you to fix it as opposed to fining you if you have participated.
Yeah, I would assume that if they did a courtesy inspection, there would not be a surprise inspection. I mean, at least during the period, they'd say, here's our courtesy inspection. You have, whatever it is. If it's a big problem, they might say you've got to fix that within 24 hours, and then the inspector's back in 24 hours to see if it was fixed. Or if they're less egregious problems, they might say, okay, you've got 10 days to fix this or 30 days to fix this, whatever it is, and then the inspector comes back. So they know they're going to come back, and so I can't see that there would be a need for a surprise inspection in the middle. But also, after the courtesy inspection period has ended and they've complied, you may want to go back and inspect them again later with a surprise inspection. I just think that it's worth seeing what companies are doing. I mean, we know that on scheduled inspections, which is when even though it's not a courtesy inspection, it's a scheduled inspection. So if a violation is found, you can be fined for it, but OSHA will notify a power plant that we're going to come up and do an inspection of the power plant in a week or whatever it is, but there's some notice of inspection. So the company has a week to get everything cleaned up, and then they come in, and then the question is, is there a culture of safety so that they actually maintain what they've done, or do they go back to whatever they had to clean up before? So that's where we think the surprise inspections will be of value. Is just going in and saying, okay, when you don't know we're coming, are you making sure that people are in an environment where they can be pretty darn certain that they're going to go home uninjured at the end of the day?
Dan, we need to take one more break. We'll do that and come back with our last couple of minutes, so if you'd hold on, please. And our guest, Dan Neal, Executive Director of the Equality State Policy Center. You're listening to Public Pulse on News Talk 930 KROE Sheridan.